Atlantic City, New Jersey, Convention Hall, June 7, 1993. Monday night, 10:47 p.m. The air inside the arena is thick with cigarette smoke and cheap beer. 12,000 people packed into a venue that has seen legends crowned and pretenders destroyed. This is not a stadium. This is not Las Vegas glamour. This is Atlantic City, where the boardwalk meets the boxing ring, where tourists come to lose money and fighters come to prove they belong. Tonight, something is different. Tonight, the crowd is not here to witness greatness. They are here to watch a demolition. They are here to see a Hollywood pretty boy get his face rearranged by a real fighter. They are here for Tommy Morrison. Tommy Morrison, 24 years old, 6 feet 2 inches tall, 225 pounds of sculpted muscle and movie star looks. Blonde hair, blue eyes, a smile that belongs on magazine covers, not in boxing rings. He stands in the red corner, wearing white trunks with gold trim, his hands wrapped in tape and leather. His body is perfect. The kind of physique that makes casting directors reach for contracts and boxing trainers shake their heads in disappointment. Because everyone knows pretty boys cannot fight. Everyone knows Hollywood ruins real fighters. Everyone knows Tommy Morrison is a fraud. 6 months ago, Tommy Morrison appeared in Rocky V. He played Tommy Gunn, the young, hungry fighter taken under Rocky Balboa's wing. He stood next to Sylvester Stallone, threw punches on camera, delivered lines, and collected a paycheck. The movie was released in November 1992. It was not a critical success. It was not a box office phenomenon. But it did something to Tommy Morrison that no opponent in the ring had managed to do. It destroyed his credibility. Before Rocky V, Tommy Morrison was a legitimate prospect. 28 wins, 0 losses, 24 knockouts. He could punch. He had speed. He had power that made veteran trainers stop and watch when he hit the heavy bag. He was being groomed for a title shot, being positioned as the next great white heavyweight, the heir to a lineage that included Jack Dempsey and Rocky Marciano. He was not famous, but he was respected. Then came Hollywood. The moment Rocky V was announced, the boxing world turned on him. Sports journalists who had written favorable columns about his knockout power suddenly questioned his commitment. Boxing promoters who had been planning his career path started looking at other fighters. Fans who had cheered his wins started calling him a sellout. The nickname spread like wildfire through gyms and sports bars across America. Hollywood hype. Tommy Gunn from the movies. Pretty boy playing fighter. Not real. Not legitimate. Not one of us. The media was relentless. Sports Illustrated ran a piece titled "From Ring to Screen and Back Again?" with a question mark that carried all the doubt in the world. ESPN analysts discussed whether appearing in a movie disqualified a fighter from being taken seriously. Radio hosts made jokes about Morrison bringing a script to the ring instead of a mouthpiece. Late-night comedians added him to their monologues, always the punchline, never the threat. Even other fighters joined in. Heavyweight contenders, who 6 months earlier had avoided Morrison's name in interviews, were now calling him out publicly. Not because they feared him, but because beating him would mean nothing. Beating Hollywood hype would not elevate anyone's career. It would just prove what everyone already believed. Tommy Morrison was not a real fighter. For 6 months, Tommy endured it. He trained harder, fought harder, won fights. But every victory was dismissed. Every knockout was questioned. He knocked out James Tillis in the first round. The headlines read, "Morrison beats 36-year-old has-been." He destroyed Mike Williams in 93 seconds. The articles said Williams was never championship material anyway. He could not escape the narrative. Hollywood hype, movie star boxer, all show, no substance. His promoter tried to book meaningful fights, fights that would force the media to acknowledge his skill, but top contenders would not take the fight. Why risk losing to someone the entire sport had written off as a joke? Why give Morrison the chance to prove himself when keeping him in the Hollywood hype box was easier and safer? Tommy was trapped in a paradox. He could not prove he was legitimate until someone legitimate fought him, but no one legitimate would fight him because he was not considered legitimate. Then George Foreman offered the fight. George Foreman, 44 years old, former heavyweight champion of the world, the man who had knocked out Joe Frazier, the man who had been destroyed by Muhammad Ali in the jungle, the man who had retired, found God, become a preacher, and then impossibly, inexplicably, come back to boxing at age 38. George Foreman, who had fought his way back into title contention, who had knocked out fighters half his age, who had somehow become a sentimental favorite and a legitimate threat again. George Foreman, whose fists were still considered the most dangerous weapons in heavyweight boxing, who punched with the force of a man who had nothing left to prove and everything left to take. The announcement was made in March 1993. Morrison versus Foreman, June 7th, Atlantic City Convention Hall, for the vacant WBO Heavyweight Championship. The boxing world laughed. This was a mismatch. This was a slaughter. This was George Foreman, living legend, destroyer of men, erasing a Hollywood pretender from the heavyweight picture. The betting lines opened with Foreman as a 3-1 favorite. Experts predicted Morrison would not last 4 rounds. The narrative was written before the first bell rang. Old Man Foreman exposes Hollywood hype. Real fighter destroys movie star. Age and wisdom and authentic skill demolish pretty boy who never belonged. Tommy Morrison read every article, heard every prediction, watched every talk show segment where experts dismissed him, where analysts laughed at the idea that he could survive George Foreman's power, where former fighters said this was the end of Morrison's delusion. His trainer, a grizzled veteran named Tom Vergitz, told him to ignore it, to focus on the game plan, to trust his speed and combinations. But Tommy did not ignore it. He absorbed it. Let it fuel him. Let it become something sharp and hard inside his chest. Every laugh, every dismissal, every time someone called him Hollywood hype, it added weight to what he was carrying into that ring. The week before the fight, Morrison gave an interview to HBO. The interviewer, a smooth professional who had covered boxing for 15 years, asked the question everyone wanted to ask. "Tommy, a lot of people are saying you do not belong in the ring with George Foreman. They are saying Rocky V was the worst thing that could have happened to your career. What do you say to those people?" Tommy looked directly into the camera. His voice was quiet, controlled. No anger, no defensiveness, just certainty. "I say, watch the fight. That is all. Just watch the fight. When it is over, you can write whatever you want. But watch what happens first." The interviewer smiled, the kind of smile that says he has heard fighters talk before, the kind of smile that says confidence means nothing when you are about to get hit by George Foreman. Now, it is fight night. June 7th, 1993, Monday evening, Atlantic City Convention Hall. The arena is packed, 12,000 people, the smell of sweat and anticipation, the roar of a crowd that has paid to see violence. They are not here for Morrison. They are here for Foreman. They want to see the old man prove that age and skill trump youth and Hollywood. They want to see Tommy Morrison learn what real boxing feels like. George Foreman enters first. The crowd erupts. 44 years old, bald head gleaming under the lights, wearing his trademark red trunks, walking slowly, purposefully, like a man who has done this 1,000 times, like a man who knows exactly what is about to happen. His body is not sculpted. He carries weight around his middle. His arms are thick, but not defined. He looks more like someone's uncle than a professional athlete. But his hands are enormous, wrapped in red gloves that look like weapons, and everyone in that arena knows those hands have ended careers, have sent men to hospitals, have destroyed everyone they have touched. George climbs into the ring, raises his arms, and the crowd chants his name. Foreman, Foreman, Foreman. Then Tommy Morrison enters. The reaction is mixed. Some cheers, many boos, a lot of mockery. Someone in the crowd yells, "Go back to Hollywood!" Another voice shouts, "Rocky's not here to save you!" Tommy does not react. He walks to the ring with his trainer, climbs through the ropes, and stands in his corner. His face is calm, focused, no smile, no showmanship. He is not here to entertain. He is here to fight. He is here to destroy the narrative that has defined him for 6 months. The referee calls both fighters to the center of the ring for instructions. George towers over the referee, his presence overwhelming, his reputation preceding him. Tommy stands across from George, and the size difference is minimal, but the experience difference is an ocean. George has fought legends. Tommy has fought contenders. George has been world champion. Tommy has been called Hollywood hype. The referee goes through the rules, standard instructions: protect yourself at all times, obey my commands, touch gloves, and come out fighting. George extends his glove. Tommy touches it. Their eyes meet. George nods slightly, not respect, just acknowledgement. "You are about to find out, kid. You are about to learn." They return to their corners. The crowd is deafening. The ring announcer steps forward, microphone in hand, begins the introductions. The crowd is louder for Foreman, much louder, but there are pockets of Morrison supporters, people who believe, people who want to see the underdog win, people who are tired of seeing young fighters dismissed. The announcer finishes. The referee looks at both corners. Ding. Round 1. George Foreman moves forward immediately, no hesitation, cutting off the ring the way a 44-year-old veteran knows how, using angles and positioning to limit Tommy's movement. He throws a jab, testing distance. Tommy circles left, away from George's power hand, staying light on his feet, moving the way younger fighters move, using speed that George does not have anymore. George presses forward, throws a combination, jab, right hand, left hook. Tommy slips the jab, blocks the right hand, and counters with a 3-punch combination: left hook to the body, right hand to the head, left hook upstairs. All 3 land clean. The crowd gasps. That was fast. That was crisp. That was not supposed to happen. George does not react. He has been hit before, will be hit again, means nothing. He continues forward, patient, methodical, throwing punches designed to keep Tommy on the defensive, forcing him backward, trying to trap him on the ropes, where age and power matter more than speed. Tommy circles away, throws another combination, 4 punches this time, doubling the jab, right hand, left hook. Again, all of them land. George's head snaps back slightly from the right hand. The crowd is quieter now. Something is wrong. Tommy is not supposed to be landing like this. Tommy is supposed to be backing up, supposed to be surviving, supposed to be Hollywood hype getting exposed. But he is not backing up. He is boxing. He is outboxing George Foreman. Round 1 ends. Tommy returns to his corner. His trainer is excited, talking fast, telling him to keep doing exactly what he is doing, keep moving, keep the combinations going. George is slow. George cannot catch him. Tommy nods, breathing controlled, sipping water, focused. Across the ring, George sits on his stool, his corner working on him, giving him instructions, telling him to cut off the ring better, to throw more power shots, to make Tommy respect his punches. George nods, his face showing nothing. No concern, no frustration, just focus. Round 2. Ding. George comes out more aggressive, throws heavier punches, right hand that whistles past Tommy's head, left hook to the body that Tommy blocks, but feels. Power that reminds everyone why George Foreman is feared. Tommy does not back down. He stands in the pocket, trades combinations, gets hit with a right hand that makes his legs wobble slightly, but fires back immediately. 4-punch combination that snaps George's head back again. The crowd is fully engaged now, split between disbelief and excitement. This is not the fight they expected. This is not Hollywood hype getting destroyed. This is a real fight. Round 3, 4, 5. Tommy is winning. Not just surviving, winning. He is landing more punches, cleaner punches, combinations that George cannot defend. George is tough, experienced, keeps coming forward, keeps throwing power shots that would end the fight if they landed clean, but Tommy is faster, sharper, boxing at a level that nobody watching expected. The HBO commentators, who predicted Tommy would not last 6 rounds, are changing their tone. This is impressive. This is legitimate. Tommy Morrison is outboxing George Foreman. Round 6. George lands a huge right hand that drops Tommy to one knee. The crowd explodes. This is it. This is the moment everyone predicted. Hollywood hype is about to get knocked out. Tommy is on one knee, glove on the canvas, looking up at the referee who is counting. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tommy stands up. The referee looks into his eyes, asks if he is okay. Tommy nods. The referee wipes Tommy's gloves, signals to continue. George charges forward, throwing bombs, trying to finish the fight. Tommy covers up, weaves, slips punches, survives the onslaught, and at the end of the round, fires back with a combination that stops George's momentum. The bell rings. Tommy walks to his corner under his own power. George looks frustrated for the first time. Round 7, 8, 9. Tommy is back in control. The knockdown woke him up, made him sharper, more focused. He is landing combinations at will. George is slowing down. The punches that had knockout power in round 1 are slower now, easier to see, easier to avoid. Tommy's confidence is growing. His combinations are getting longer. 3 punches become 4, 4 become 5. He is putting on a clinic. The crowd is fully behind him now, chanting his name, Morrison, Morrison, Morrison. The same crowd that booed him during his entrance, the same people who wanted to see him destroyed, they are cheering for him because what they are watching is undeniable. This is not Hollywood hype. This is a fighter. This is a real fighter. Round 10, 11, 12. George is tired. 44 years old, trying to fight a younger, faster opponent, trying to land the one punch that will change everything, but that punch is not coming. Tommy is too fast, too sharp, too confident. He is landing at will. George's face is swelling. His left eye is closing. He is still dangerous, but he is losing, clearly, undeniably losing. The final bell rings. Both fighters raise their arms. The crowd is on their feet, applauding, cheering, acknowledging what they have witnessed. Tommy Morrison just outboxed George Foreman for 12 rounds. Tommy Morrison, Hollywood hype, just defeated a legend. The judges' scorecards are read: 1-17, 110, 116, 111, 1-17, 109, all for Tommy Morrison. Unanimous decision. New WBO heavyweight champion of the world, Tommy Morrison. The referee raises Tommy's hand. The belt is wrapped around his waist. Tommy's corner rushes into the ring, lifting him onto their shoulders, celebrating. George Foreman walks over, embraces Tommy, whispers something in his ear that nobody else can hear. Tommy nods. Respect between fighters. Acknowledgement between men who have just gone through war together. The HBO interviewer climbs into the ring, microphone in hand, ready to get the post-fight interview. Tommy, that was incredible. What do you want to say right now? Tommy is breathing hard, exhausted, but his voice is clear. I want to say to everyone who called me Hollywood hype, to everyone who said I was not a real fighter, to everyone who said I did not belong in the ring with George Foreman, I want to say, I hope you watched. I hope you saw what happened tonight. Because this is who I am. I am not a movie character. I am not a pretty boy. I am a fighter. I am a world champion. And I proved it. The crowd roars. The interviewer asks another question, but the noise drowns it out. Within hours, the narrative changes. The headlines shift. Newspapers that mocked Tommy Morrison 24 hours earlier now praise his performance. Sports Illustrated, which questioned his legitimacy, runs a cover story titled, "Morrison's Moment, Hollywood Hype Becomes Real Deal." ESPN analysts who predicted he would not last 4 rounds now break down his technique, his combinations, his ring generalship. Radio hosts who made jokes about him bringing a script to the fight now discuss his place in the heavyweight division. The boxing world, which had written him off as a fraud, now acknowledges what cannot be denied. Tommy Morrison can fight. Tommy Morrison is legitimate. Tommy Morrison is a world champion. But the victory is bittersweet. Because Tommy knows, his team knows, everyone who understands boxing knows that this should not have been necessary. He should not have had to prove himself against a 44-year-old legend to be taken seriously. He should not have had to endure 6 months of mockery and dismissal because he appeared in a movie. He should have been judged on his skills, his record, his performances in the ring, not on his appearance or his Hollywood connection. But that is not how the world works. That is not how narratives work. Once you are labeled, once you are placed in a box, you have to fight twice as hard to break free. Tommy Morrison fought twice as hard, and he won. Years later, after everything that happened, after the triumphs and the tragedies, after the highs and the devastating lows, people who were there that night in Atlantic City still talk about it. They talk about the moment the crowd shifted from mockery to respect. They talk about watching a fighter refuse to accept the narrative others had written for him. They talk about the look on George Foreman's face when he realized this was not going to be the easy fight everyone predicted. They talk about Tommy Morrison proving that Hollywood hype was never real, that it was a label created by people who judged appearances instead of abilities, by media looking for easy stories instead of truth. June 7, 1993. The night Tommy Morrison stopped being Hollywood hype and became world champion. The night the headlines changed, not because the media wanted them to change, but because Tommy forced them to change. 1 punch at a time, 1 round at a time, 12 rounds of undeniable skill and determination that left no room for doubt, no space for dismissal. He had been mocked. He had been ridiculed. He had been written off. And then he fought. And then he won. And the whole world had to acknowledge what he knew all along. He belonged.